we're here with Ross Kortgardner from Titan Milsim in Littleton, Colorado. Ross, we're glad to have you here today.
Thank you.
Hey, so we want to get started. Obviously, I just gave you where you were at, Littleton, Colorado. But how long have you guys been in Colorado?
We started in 2012.
Okay. Now, on your website, you say that you're formerly JTAC. What changed there?
We started off as JTAC, and then we transitioned into Titan Milsim, or Titan as an organization. We still are JTAC Airsoft and Milsim. That's our overall business name. We're doing business as Titan Milsim, and of course, as you've seen, we've been selling it as Titan Milsim. So it was more of a business deal that we had with another investor that we decided to change our name. That's kind of where we fell at. It was just more of a business decision between us and a new business investor.
Okay, that makes sense. So Titan Milsim or JTAC has been around since 2012. What have you seen change? Obviously, there's been a lot of improvements to the field here lately. What are you guys doing new?
I would say we've definitely changed our style of, I would say, Milsim. We kind of learned from a lot of mistakes over the years. Trying different formulas. See what works and what doesn't. We going forward, we're kind of using more of the GPS technology. We're using more mission cards, so it's clear and concise when we call it missions for our larger full weekend games. Some of the missions a little more, I would say, objective evolution. So basically, you get to one mission, and maybe leads you to another mission that leads you to another mission for the overall objective. So we kind of evolved into that a little bit. We've started more blank fire. The more staff used to do that as well. Years ago, I had my own Mosin Nagant, and I used to shoot that thing at our Weekend Warrior games. And then we started kind of allowing more blank fire over the years. It's been more staff-driven. We get in AR-15s, blank fire pistols, and stuff, so on from there. But we just kind of evolutionized into not just we do Milsim, but we also do airsoft as well. And so that's the airsoft side is things like BB Wars, where it's like the game of Risk, but it's broken up into different parts of the field for each country. Continent, excuse me. And then we have other games like we're coming up with Red Dawn next year, which is going to be more scenario based, where there is no winner or loser to the game. It's just more of you're playing the game. The scenario is going to be based off more of the movie. So we've kind of evolved into having our operation, which is Separatist versus the Republic for the operation games, and then our more scenario games and airsoft pickup games.
Okay, so how large is your field?
Well, we used to use a field called Kiowa Creek Airsoft, which was our home field. It was run by somebody else. I helped manage as well, off and on, throughout the years. But so happened it burned down, and the landowner said no because there was a big fire, so on and so forth. I don't want to get too much into that, but so we had to look for a new place. Come July, we found a place up in the mountains, about 45 to an hour from my house, and it's about 150 acres. It's built. We can use 100 acres roughly for one large op, and then there's another about 30 plus in the back. That's across the highway that we could use, and so we started using that. And starting in July, we just had our game Dragon's Keep there, and it was a good success. It was about 130 people. For our first game at the field. We're just still building on it. There's a lot of kind of pardon our dust because there's a lot of stuff to build on. A field is not overnight, but the field is very challenging. There's a lot of hills for sure. There's vegetation, trees, but when you go there, you're like, oh my God, there's so much room for additions and things we can add to it. And so we do a lot more objective based at the field. So you're gonna have like a communications area, a village. We have a thing called Bunker Hill. You can have with Hamburger Hills, named on another part of the field. So we're making themed objectives where they're kind of like Battlefield, the video game. You have different spots, objectives to take, control points, I guess, as we would say. And that's kind of what we're going for the field.
Right.
And then we can kind of go from there, doing small pickup games to even large ops.
Okay. So what's the newest improvement that you've done to your field?
We kind of started working on a little marketplace. We had some fencing that we used near the connexes that are there by the property owners. We kind of utilized those, and we're putting in a marketplace to kind of add to the role play aspect of the game, so guys can role play if we want shopkeepers and things like that. That's kind of what we've built over the past week, and then kind of going forward, we have like a 1980s satellite dish, so it's massive. So that's kind of our communications array, and then build stuff around it when we install it and make it another objective. So it's kind of the newest things that we just built this past week.
Okay. So let's talk about what major events do you have coming up?
So our major events are going to be coming up. Now we don't have anything really major until next year, just because Colorado does get a little snowy.
Yeah.
We do have a ski industry here. We are pushing for some winter games, but that's going to be more for the more local populace. But our large op that's coming up, and this is the fourth one that we've had, is going to be Jackal 4, which is going to be at Peaceful Valley Scout Ranch down in Elbert. We've hit 350 players before for Jackal 2, and we're hoping to hit 400 for Jackal 4 at this property. It's all natural. Now, you don't expect there's going to be tons of cover or anything like that, but the terrain is mountainous. There's massive ravines. Planning, trying to figure out where to go, a lot of strategic ways to move as a squad, as a platoon at the op is what we really want to focus on for this property. Now you think, oh, it's just the woods. No, we actually throw in a lot of props, a lot of objectives. We have SAM sites. We have mortar pits now that we actually put out the day before and get them all set up at the property. So Jackal 4s are going to be our big op that's coming up in 2019, May 17th to the 19th.
Awesome. So when Titan Milsim looks to go to an event, what do you look for in an event?
When I go to an event?
Yes.
I'm picky. So I'm not saying ours is the best Milsim. Everyone has their own flavor of what there's immersive Milsim, there's objective Milsim, there's more skirmish type of Milsim, and Milsim Light. Again, that's another topic or another genre that's out there. What I look for is kind of the structure of the game, and as well as do we stay with our squads? Do we work as a squad? Because I'm going to some national ops, and I'm not trying to throw other companies under the bus, but I really like to see things that we have more squad cohesion because you're more effective as a team than you are as individuals.
Right.
So that's kind of what we focus on. Having my likes in the game, that's kind of what we put into our game. So having things like our mission cards that we give some of the squad leaders, we actually write down everything that's, I don't know if you can really see that well, but there you go. So, so we call out the alphanumeric message to our squad leaders, and they might have to go out and perform these things. You got things like mission profiles and special equipment. Maybe you have to go find a demo charge to go blow up something. We have rules. So if you have to be an engineer class, kind of like Battlefield, engineer class to go blow something up. You can't just have some random medic go blow something up. So you have to actually be the class that's certified to go do that.
That's cool.
We, Frago numbers and so on and so forth, and we just kind of integrated, for the test of the Last Dragon's Keep game at our home field. We started doing supply drops. So we have multiple supply drops with the props that you'll need as whatever your MOS you are. So if you need a bomb or a computer or maybe bolt cutters to go cut something up, you can get to your nearest supply point that will have your supply in it. Then you can go on your objective after that. So you don't have to go all the way back to the fob. So one other thing is we really focus on, and I like to see other companies doing it. We picked up for Rhodesian Revolt, is the ghosting idea. And what that means is, what happens if you get shot? You bleed out, whatever. Now you have to go back and respawn. Well, that could be 200 yards behind you. So you go back as a player 200 yards back, and then you try to link up with your friends or your squad. What happens? They're gone.
Yeah.
Then you're on the radio for like an hour trying to figure out where they're at. And so that's what I like to see things like ghosting or something where it's more squad cohesion and you die as a squad, respawn as a squad. And if I die as an individual, I bleed out. I just keep my dead rag on them and walk around with my squad till they're fully compromised. Then we pull out of the fight as a squad and not as individuals that we're always. Because you travel 5-6 hours to play with each other.
Right.
You stick together. So it's kind of, I mean, I look for that. Gameplay is a big thing for me. I can care less what the AO looks like. I mean, uh, things like Fort Hood. Fort Hood's very awesome AO. If it's just strictly in the building area, it becomes a cluster and it's just not entertaining to me. So I look for something that's another company started using 2 mount sites plus all the land around it. And I'm like, that's what I like. That they're actually utilizing stuff so we can camp maneuver and not have just BB wars. We actually use strategic movement.
Okay. All right. Speaking of events you're going to, next weekend you will be at an event. What is that?
That is Conquest for Avalon 2.
Okay. Have you ever played an Overwatch game before?
Yes, I played it at I can't remember the name of the app, but it was at Dogpatch, Arkansas.
Okay.
So the old amusement park / family fun center, I guess I would say, but real beautiful place.
Awesome. Awesome. So as a company, what will you be bringing next weekend to Conquest of Avalon 2?
These. So we're bringing tourniquets, guys. So tourniquet thing is kind of a new trend that's really been popular. I would say hats off to kind of Milsim West. They've really kind of pioneered the idea of doing the tourniquets, and of course everyone kind of got onto it. But ours, we decided to kind of do our own version. We kind of have a red patch there, kind of your medic type of idea, like a Red Cross. And it stands out instead of the red pull tab. Plus, it's a very durable product. It's white, and we decided to go with white with the tourniquets just because white tends to stand out on a uniform. If you put a black one on, woodland, it kind of bleeds in the uniform from a distance. And so we wanted to go with white just because you can see it. It helps mitigate issues because you're shooting some guy from a distance. They duck behind the wall. Say they get tourniquet with a black one. We do honor the black ones at our game as well. But, they come back out and they start shooting, and you're like, I knew I shot that guy. It still helps mitigate with people calling hits or saying that guy's cheating. At least when you pop out, you see this, like, oh, he got healed by a buddy. Well, also, they kind of knows that, oh, there's another guy behind the wall. So that's kind of why we kind of went the white. Plus, the cool thing about with our white tourniquets, you can get a Sharpie, write your name on the inside of it, and you can put your name and phone number on it, just in case you lose it out in the field. So that's kind of what we're bringing. These are going to be $10 down at Conquest or Overwatch Tactics games. So we'll have those. We're going to have a booth set up and all that.
Awesome. So you will be down Friday for Vendor Row.
Yes, correct.
Awesome. So you sent me 2 of those.
Right.
And when we were trying to go on the other day live, we tried to do the drawing, and William Soto won. So
are you serious?
He's the one who guessed the answer.
Are you kidding me?
He was the one that the question was, what's the maximum FPS to run as a DMR? And of course, so we'll get that to him Friday at Vendor Row because he'll be there. If you want to take it from him and then slap him with it, that's completely up to you.
I'm sure he's going to hand it off to somebody else, and I know how he is.
But you sent
somebody else.
but you sent 2 of them, so I will be rocking a Titan Milsim tourniquet because there's a good chance I'll be shot sometime during the game. So I'm super excited about that. Now, one last thing before we transition into some personal stuff. Your website says that you do consulting for games. What all does that entail?
Well, we haven't got much for consulting yet. It's something we just started with our investors that he suggested we should do something like that. Just because we have built a foundation of, there's so much in any company can commit to, admit to this, but there's a lot of trial and error. You try something, then it didn't work, or you have a bad game, or there's everything can happen. So, oh, your dog's coming over. So no, so there's things like that. So we built a foundation. I believe can work for any style of game. We have our own style that we have, but does someone have to integrate our style in their game? No, because we want to have their own flavor. And so what we do is I have tons of forms and PDF files and my knowledge of like I don't think you should do this because I can see this happening, this coming to fruition because of the mistakes. And so we have kind of we can help people set up like their own type of mission card, their own like foundation of start to finish. What does a post and pre-op look like, or post or pre-game look like? We consult people on that who want to kind of start their own Milsim company, or just maybe just want to keep it low key and they just want to locally. So we do kind of consulting work and that type of nature. So we can I guess mentor, I guess we would say, people like this is how you can run your game. Now marketing and all that stuff is something we don't normally do. Of course, we do suggest that. You want to do some marketing. It's always a touchy thing because now the younger crowd's coming up, and now Facebook is kind of the old people thing. So so it's like now we have to kind of move into more Snapchat and Instagram and things of that nature. But then I kind of leave that to their own because they know they need to promote their product, and I leave that. But how to run a game and operation down from start to finish, and how to actually organize your crews and time slots, and actually showing how to run it as a business is what kind of the consulting we do.
Cool, awesome. So let's get a little personal real quick.
Okay.
So, do you have any military experience? Because we know we have a lot of vets in this area.
None.
Awesome. That works.
Yeah, I'm not going to say I'm not doing it or not, but no. I mean, my dad was in the Navy. The most military experience I've ever got, like a lot of people have, they have between video games, movies, and personal friends. I mean, that's kind of all the military experience that I would say. Now, I've been in the industry. I mean, I played paintball, scenario paintball. We were more military scenario based. I did that for 16 years, and then I kind of got into airsoft. It was a natural transition because paintball started getting absurd. So it's kind of, but no military experience.
So you do a lot of supervising. Do you play?
Yeah, I do a little bit. When you get into more productions, it's hard to get to play. For our large operations, we don't put on, the red jacket or vest or any of that stuff. For our larger operations, we're actually in our game. We manage it within. We call out the missions within the game. Sometimes we call ourselves tactical advisors, and so we actually help out players, our COs and things of that nature, how to run the game. So eventually, we're going to be start being the commanders in the game, and we can go mobile because that's why we have the mission cards. Because we give these to our squad leaders, I can call that mission in anywhere on the field at any time I want. So I don't have to be back at a fob to do that. That's why we're trying to make it more mobile out in the field, so we can be out there taking care of our, I guess, customers when we're playing. So I mean, I get to play on that aspect, but a lot of times I am running a blank pistol or shotguns. We have AR-15, so on and so forth, and we're making the ambiance for the players. So that's kind of what I'm doing out there. I think I got to play a little bit at the last Jackal, and a few weekends I got to play. So this is kind of relief to go out down to Texas for the Overwatch game to actually get the trigger time.
Awesome. So what is your favorite op that you have played or that you play continually?
Favorite op. A lot of people probably heard of it, and that's probably going to be Rhodesian Revolt out in Utah. That was my favorite op. Now, Weapon Blender did go under. They did close up their doors, which they also ran that game as well. So for me, that was probably my most favorite op that I've ever been to. I went to 3 years in a row, but that was out in Utah. The format, the gameplay, the player base, the attention to detail that they had, just the field alone. There was 3 factions, which I'm not a 3-faction person game. They're all fighting, and it just creates chaos. I know there's going to be I think there's only 2 for this game coming up, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So 3 factions is more of a cluster, and it creates too much. Someone backstabs someone else. Someone knows not knowing that they're backstabbing, and then it ruins gameplay. I'm not a big third faction, but their third faction game worked out great. There was 3 different camps on a map, about 400 acres, and there was woods in between. So you had to go through the woods to get to the other fob and try to destroy it or attack it. But there was also objectives and continuous objectives in the field. So that's probably my most favorite op. And there was role play and there was LARPing. It was overall. If I had some other people in the room with me, they would be like, "Oh yeah, that was the best game."
Awesome.
Hands down. We went to, Lion Claw down at Fort Hood, and the AO was great. The gameplay was mediocre. Not to throw Lion Claw under the bus or anything like that, but I didn't. It wasn't my style. I didn't like how we stopped, then took a break, and then went to another mount site. After we fought there for 5 hours, we stopped, took a break, and there was no continuous. And I like continuous gameplay.
Okay.
We had to actually bring out our lunch and stuff in a backpack and hang out in the field and all that. I'm not. I know for Overwatch they're going to take a lunch, and I'm cool with that. That's totally fine. But there were so many breaks for the Lion Claw game. I was like, okay, this is a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, okay. So you've heard of a rapid fire round?
Rapid firing?
Yes, like a rapid fire round. I'll ask you a question, you answer as fast as you can.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we do ours. We call it a full auto round. So if you're ready for this, I got some. It's not yes or no. It's just what do you like best. It's strictly your opinion, and we like to ask this at the end of every interview with our guests. So,
okay.
You ready?
So you just want yes or no, no full details.
Right? Yeah, it's just the first thing that comes to your mind. So.
Okay.
All right. So it's your choice. So rifleman or sniper?
Rifleman.
M4 or AK-47?
AK-47.
Grenades, yes or no?
What kind of grenades?
Any.
Yes.
CQB or outdoor fields?
Outdoor.
Okay, so with this op you'll be playing next weekend, you have 2 factions, unit or merc. So is it unit or merc?
Unit. So go camo.
Okay, post-apocalyptic or space age?
Oh God, that's a hard one. Because I'm a nerd. I love sci-fi. So you post-apocalyptic. That's a growing trend. Space age for now. I mean, I love post-apocalyptic. It's another hobby you can get into. It's just more money.
Right. Green camo or desert tan?
Green.
Local field or Milsim event?
Local field.
Awesome. That's good stuff. All right. Well, Ross, I appreciate you coming on with us. I really enjoyed this interview. I'm sorry that we couldn't do it on Facebook Live, but this has been just an awesome experience. Any last shout outs you want to give to your people?
Let's see here. Probably shout out to William Soto, awesome guy. He's I've met some people through the airsoft industry, and he's the only one I really respect a lot. And just talking on a personal level, man to man, even outside of airsoft, we haven't really hung out like on a personal level, just because we live in 2 different states. But talking on the phone and shooting the and he's just a great guy. Shout out to our sponsors. Shout out to High Power Airsoft. I mean, they're exceptional BBs. Trying to think what else. All the guys, everyone who's helped me out over the years to kind of reach our goal of where we're at now. So that's kind of what I'm excited to say. I guess that's about it. What else I want to say? Oh, if you come out to our games, and one thing I wanted to show, and what we also do is GPS coordinates. So if you guys ever come out to a game that's like, we have a game of 200 acres, we actually give you the GPS coordinates to download in your GPS, so you can actually lead squad leaders to the objectives that are like hidden in the woods or buildings and so on and so forth. So something I forgot to kind of show you guys, but little last minute thing. But we use little Garmin 401s, 301s, and we actually call out grid points, and you actually find the number that coordinates with the one that's in your GPS, and you go out and take them off. So
Awesome. That's great. Well, Ross, again, I thank you so much for your time on this, and I can't wait till next weekend.
cool, man. I'll see you there.
Awesome. Thanks, Ross. We'll talk to you later.
You too.
All right, buddy.
Bye.